Welcome, welcome. It is Wednesday, August 30th. This is your yoga practice. So as we move through our time together, please be sure to do so in ways that work for you today, trying to do so without any judgment or criticism of your body and what it's up to. Just a friendly reminder that starting today, I'll be traveling for the rest of the week and maybe Monday morning also. I'm going to do my very best to still go live. Just in case the internet signal is not great, I'll be uploading some videos from the archive, or you can always scroll back on the website and pick out a past class to practice. But fingers crossed we'll be able to go live. Also a reminder, today we can stay on for some meditation practice if you have time. And without further ado, let's start breathing deeply and stretching out, opening up our heart space. So sitting tall, let's bring our hands to the ground just outside of our hips, coming up to the fingertips, then lifting your shoulders up towards your ears, pushing them straight back in space and then dropping them down. Maybe walking your fingertips out again, maybe flipping your palms to face forward. Core muscles are engaged, supporting you. You might lean back in space ever so slightly. So if you glance down, you can see your shoulders are over your hips. And then looking straight ahead, maybe draw your head back in space ever so slightly. So drawing the chin back in space. Ears are stacked over shoulders, over hips. And then on your next inhale, see if you can lift your heart a little bit more. You might lift your face as well. Taking a couple of breaths here, seeing if you can find a balance between effort and ease. It might feel a little awkward. There might be some straining. We don't want pain, but we can explore the things that are short of pain. And on an exhale, release back to neutral. Maybe wobble your head. And sitting tall, fingertips on the ground, palms faced forward. Inhale, stretching your right arm up and over. Your left forearm might come to the ground. Maybe you stay on the hand. And as you settle in, sink your right hip to the ground. Maybe bend your right arm, supporting behind your head and neck, and maybe rotate just a little bit more upwards. Big, slow breath in, imagining or feeling the stretch in the space between your ribs. And carefully release your right hand to your lap. Help yourself sit up tall. Roll your shoulders a few times, squeezing them up, back and down. And then fingertips to the ground, palms flipped forward, open your hands wide. On a big inhale, sweep your left arm up and over. Maybe lowering to the right forearm. Sink your left hip down. Maybe bend your left elbow and support behind your head. And maybe rotate your heart just a little bit more upwards. Another breath, taking the time to notice where you feel sensation. Slowly sit up tall. Inhale, sweep both arms out and up, maybe look up. Exhale, lower your hands in front of you and take a gentle fold forward or lean forward. You might sway side to side. You could soften your jaw here. Maybe rock your head. Being mindful of your knees. If something doesn't feel great, just adjust so it's okay. And slowly sit up tall. Bring your hands back behind you. Notice which leg's been crossed in front if you've been sitting in easy seat. We'll switch it up soon. Bring both feet to the ground. Hands are back behind you, but rotate your arms so that it feels okay on your wrists. And wherever your fingertips are pointing, try to send a little bit more weight or energy into them, lightening the wrists. Engage your core, puff up your chest. Take a nice full, slow breath here. And this is a fine place to stay, or lift your hips any amount. If you're coming into this reverse tabletop shape, we want the shoulders pretty well over the wrists, the knees pretty well over the ankles. Press your hips up as high as you can and play with softening your gluteal muscles while keeping the lift in your hips. And we're pushing the ground away really energetically through the hands and arms, so we're not dumping into the shoulders. When you're ready, if you haven't already, lower your hips down. Rest your arms on your knees. Inhale to sit tall. And exhale, let your spine round, chin drops towards chest. You might rock your head side to side here. Breathing in, sit up tall. You could stay like this or bring your hands back behind you. Once again, lifting up your hips, reverse tabletop, or option to send one or both legs long. I believe that's Purvottanasana, inclined plane. See what feels best for you. So sometimes just because we can physically do something, it doesn't mean that's what is really most helpful or serving us. Always prioritizing good form and full breath. One more breath. From wherever you've gone, let's lower down our hips, rest our arms on our knees. Big inhale to sit tall. And exhale, let your spine round, head drop. Maybe rock the head side to side. All right, when you're ready, sit up tall, cross your legs with the opposite or non-dominant leg in front, hands on knees. Inhale as you draw a semicircle forwards. Exhale as you draw it back in space. So you could imagine with your heart drawing a big circle around the width of your yoga mat. And you could be flexing your spine here, shoulder blades sliding together when you inhale, sliding apart when you exhale. When it feels right, switch the direction of your circling, still inhaling forwards and exhaling back. Good. And for the next breath or two, see if you can notice the parts of you connected to the ground. So we are giving our hamstring attachments a nice massage as we do this. Returning to center. Inhale, stretch your arms up. And exhale, lower your hands in front of you, taking a forward fold. Long spine or rounded spine, stillness or swaying. See what's best for you here. Several breaths. Couple more breaths. And as you're ready, let's sit up tall and make our way into tabletop. Varmanasana. As soon as you get there, walk your arms forward, melting your heart down, Anahatasana, puppy pose or heart melting pose. Some folks like their chin on the ground, some like their heads. If this feels like too much pressure or unpleasant on your shoulders, you could also bend your elbows and rest your forehead on your forearms. Wherever you are, notice the tops of your feet and press them into your mat, giving yourself some leverage. Core muscles engaged so we're not swaying into our low back. And from Anahatasana, let's weave the left arm under the right arm, like thread the needle. Your right arm can be up overhead on the mat or in the sky or around behind your back. Another breath or two. Still connecting your feet to the ground. Unwind from this twist. Pause in neutral. And then weave your right arm under your left. Left arm can be on the ground, fingertips walking up towards the top of the mat, or up to the sky, or around behind your back. Maybe there's another great idea you've got. Give yourself a few breaths wherever you've gone. Another breath. And then we'll slowly release, unwinding. Walk your hands back under your shoulders. Take any movement that might feel good to you before eventually making your way to downward facing dog. So if you like to practice chaturanga, you've got time to run through a few flows. Maybe today settling into some stillness and just observing the shape and what the mind does in it. Might hit the spot. So breathe deeply wherever you're going. Remembering that when we're in this triangle shape, we're really pushing away through our arms. So you could think of it as trying to stretch out your armpits, getting really long and spacious in there, protecting the joint. Let the neck be heavy and relaxed. When you're ready, carefully lift your right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Take any other movement here that feels good. Some folks like to bend their right knee. Maybe draw a big circle with the right leg. And looking forward, inhale. Exhale, step or swing your right foot to the pinky side edge of your right hand. So right arm on the inside of the right leg. Pressing back through your left heel, you could bring blocks under your hands. Uttanapristhasana, lizard pose. And then when you're ready, lower your left knee, untuck the toes. Imagine squeezing your legs together. Again, integrity in the joints. And then draw your heart forwards and upwards. Maybe walk your hands up your hips or legs. Maybe stretch your arms up. If so, hold on to your left wrist and pull it over to the right side. So really stretching this whole left side body all the way down to the hip flexor. On an inhale, come back to center, reaching up. Exhale, open your arms out wide, slowly bringing your hands together behind your back, interlacing your fingers. You could rest the knuckles on your low back as you lift your heart, or lengthen your arms, dragging your knuckles down. Always just doing the best you can too. So maybe all of this balancing isn't feeling good. You'd rather bring your hands to the ground or blocks in front of you. Beautiful. And when you're ready, we'll all release. Hands to blocks or the ground. Tuck your left toes, make your way to plank pose. Inhaling. And exhale, downward facing dog. So if you take down dog with the blocks, sometimes they slide a little. I still like to try it from time to time because it does give a whole different perspective, as if your arms could be a few inches longer. Good. When you're ready, from this triangle shape, let's carefully lift the left leg, bend the left knee, maybe lift it or circle it. Big in-breath, looking forward. And exhale, step or swing your left foot to the pinky side edge of your left hand. Settling in for this lizard pose shape on the other side. Couple of breaths with the right knee lifted. And imagine squeezing your legs together, then carefully lowering your right knee, untucking the toes. Draw your heart forwards and upwards. Maybe walk your hands up your legs and hip, lifting your torso. Maybe stretching the arms up, and if so, hold on to that right wrist, pulling it up and over to the left. On an inhale, come back to center, reaching up. Exhale, slowly opening your arms out wide. Possibly interlacing your hands behind your back, and then you might want to switch the interlace, taking the non-dominant, lifting your heart, maybe lowering your knuckles towards the ground. Big inhale. And exhale, hands to the ground in front of you. Tuck your right toes, breathing in. Breathe out, step your right foot up. Make your way to forward fold, bringing the feet about hips distance apart. Hang heavy here. We can always bend the knees generously in forward fold. On an inhale, lift halfway. Got Trudy sighing at us. On an exhale, fold down. And inhale, rise all the way up. Big stretch. Exhale your hands to your heart. Press your palms together in front of your chest, lifting your heart. Relax your shoulders a little. Carefully shift the weight towards your right leg and step your left foot back and out, setting up for warrior one. So the whole left foot is planted on the ground. Bend into your right knee. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Breath or two like this. Another inhale, reaching even higher. Exhale, open your arms out wide. Bring your hands back behind you. So option to interlace your fingers, yoga mudra. Also an option to see about bringing your hands into prayer behind the back. Kind of depends on the shoulders' willingness to go there. Of course, never causing pain, but maybe exploring our boundaries. And see if you can lengthen your low back a little, lift your heart a little. Another breath. And on an exhale, hinge forward any amount. You could keep your hands in prayer, namaste, behind your back, or interlace your knuckles and extend your arms long. That's gonna feel a lot better on my body at least. And then slowly start stepping into your right leg, maybe finding a little bit of balance. If it serves you better, then by all means release your arms and Superman or airplane, anything to help you balance. Exploring Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, balancing on the right leg, sending equal energy through the left leg, core muscles engaged, and imagine lifting or puffing up your heart. One more breath. And stand upright, finding your way back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Noticing what's going on. Did the mind get really busy or really focused? How about the breath? Bring your hands back to heart center. Inhale. And shift your weight towards the left foot. Exhale, stepping your right foot back. Breathing here as you steady yourself in Warrior 1. We can stretch the arms up. Another inhale, reaching as high as you can. And exhale, open your arms out wide. Bringing your hands back behind you, maybe interlacing your fingers, again taking the opposite or non-dominant option, or bringing your palms together in prayer pose behind your back. Especially if you do that, make sure you're lengthening your low back, still lifting up through your chest, just seeing how it feels. Every inhale creates length in the spine. And as you exhale, you might slowly start to lean forwards, maybe switching your arms to something more sustainable for you today, maybe stepping into your left leg a bit more. The right toes can lift off of the ground any amount, and you're in Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. A few more breaths to breathe and explore this balancing shape. One more breath, and slowly we'll set the right foot down. This time let's take forward fold. Nod the head and shake the head. Press into your feet and slowly make your way upright. When you get all the way up, lift your shoulders, roll them back and down, standing tall for a few breaths. On an inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale to fold forward. Hands touch down, step yourself into plank pose for 1 breath. And exhale, downward facing dog, 2 breaths. Inhale, look forward as you come into plank. Exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest, slow motion, elbows pointing back in space, lowering all the way down to your belly. Stack your forearms in front of your face. With your forearms on the ground, push into your arms to lift your torso and drag it towards the top of the mat. And then lower your head onto your forearms. Makarasana, or crocodile shape. So you can stay just like this, head on forearms, or rest your chin in your hands, elbows on the ground. The tops of the feet can press into the mat. I usually like to bring my feet out as wide as the mat. It creates a little more space for the low back. Some folks like to bring the roots of their big toes together. Seeing what's best for you, another breath or 2. And on an exhale, lower down. You could bring one cheek to the ground, maybe bend your knees and let your legs fall side to side. Tuck your toes, touching them down on the ground. Hands alongside your chest, arms hugging in. Big in-breath. And exhale, press yourself up through half plank or plank. Take an inhale here. And exhale, downward facing dog, just passing through. Inhale to look forward. And exhale to step your feet up wide to the top of your mat. When you get to your forward fold, sink your hips down and come all the way to your seat. We're just flipping around to come onto the spine. Rolling onto your back. And when you get there, feet on the ground, knees pointed up towards the sky. Slowly lift your low back and hips towards the sky. Walk one shoulder and then the other under your torso. Palms pressing into the earth or taking a variation of bridge pose that you love. The chin is lifted. There's no pain in the neck here. You can stay as long as you'd like or just stay one more breath. And lower down when you're ready. Open your arms out wide, and after that back bend, we'll let our legs fall towards the right, taking us into a gentle twist to neutralize the spine. And bring your legs through neutral, middle, and over to the left. And bring your legs through neutral. If you would like to take your Shavasana rest in a supported back bend, now's a great time to set yourself up for that. And just lying on your back with your arms straight out can also be a really gentle heart opener, or more gentle. So if you're using any props to rest on, just remember that you're in control of it. If it's not feeling right, or if after several breaths you want to switch, you can always do that. And we'll take a couple of minutes here. I will ring the bell right at 30 minutes in case you need to hop off. If you have time for even a couple of moments of meditation, you're welcome to stay. Settling in here, knowing that you have made this time for yourself. There's nowhere else to be right at this moment. So maybe you could let go just a little more. Imagine relaxing from the very top of your head. Relaxation floating down your face, your jaw, the back of your head and neck, shoulders, relaxation just sweeping down your arms to your hands. Your torso's heavy and supported. There's no work to do here. Your hips can relax. Upper legs, knees, lower legs, ankles, feet. Everything could let go. Just a little. knowing that you can leave your practice anytime. If you have the time and space to stay for a little bit, we'll practice a body scan so you can stay exactly how you are. If you feel very sleepy, you can always sit up instead. Bringing your gentle attention to the parts of your feet connected to the ground. Nothing to change here. Just see if you can notice the experience of your feet pressing into the ground. And you might imagine your attention like a spotlight moving around the feet, noticing anything you can. Texture, temperature. Maybe there's a sensation of tingling or numbness or a lack of sensation. Maybe acknowledging these feet that carry you through life. We can gently let our attention lift up from the feet, swirling around the ankles. They do so much work to balance us throughout the day. And from the ankles, our attention can slowly spiral up the legs. Taking your time spiraling up the shins and calf muscles, and eventually around the knees. Eventually, the awareness sweeps all the way around and up the legs. When your attention gets to your hips and gluteal muscles, the pelvic bowl area, this area of elimination and reproduction, digestion. If it's comfortable, see if you can soften there a little bit more. If there's any deep layers of tension, you might invite them to release just a little. Keeping the belly very relaxed when you breathe in, allowing it to expand. And slowly, eventually, it draws back, pressing breath out of the torso. And try to let your attention rise up to your rib cage, maybe noticing the areas of pressure where your rib cage meets the ground. Maybe noticing areas of expansion when you breathe in, how the rib cage grows, flaring out, allowing in breath, pranic energy, our life force, oxygen. And slowly letting the breath go. Breathing at your own pace another time or two. Perhaps with your next breath, inviting in a sense of awe and wonder at this phenomenon of breathing. Gently shifting your attention to your shoulders. Attention all around the shoulders. And slowly spiraling down the arms. Imagining a trail of relaxation being left. The elbows can relax. Forearms, wrists, your palms, and each of your fingers from the root to the tip. Gently, the wave of your attention rises up your arms to your neck, softening everywhere it goes. Notice your neck. You might notice the tongue. If it's pressing into the roof of the mouth, see if you can release it. And imagine relaxing your tongue all the way to its root in your throat. Jaw relaxed, cheeks relaxed, eyes relaxed, forehead relaxing. Maybe you can notice or feel your ears. Can you feel any atmosphere, the temperature of the air? Maybe there's a little breeze. And imagining how sounds travel through space, passing through your awareness as the sound vibrations interact with your ears. Noticing the back of your head, the crown of your head. For several breaths, let's practice noticing our whole physical experience. Moving so gently. Let's slowly take the most full breath yet and enjoy a full body stretch. So you might stretch your arms up overhead. Take any movement that feels right. If you've been on the ground, then eventually roll onto one side. Several breaths here. We're eventually making our way back to an easy seat where we'll practice just a little bit of pranayama breath work to kind of re-energize in case you have a day ahead of you. eventually sitting upright, either in Sukhasana, easy seat, if so, maybe on a folded blanket, or if it's available to you, you might sit on your heels. It's a lot to ask of the knees, so you could also sit on a blanket or block. Let's bring one hand to the low belly, one hand to the heart, and take a couple full diaphragmatic breaths. So this is the breath that we often practice where the belly's relaxed and the belly expands when the breath comes in, then the ribs spread out, and the chest lifts and expands, and then eventually everything sinks down as breath leaves. Couple more full diaphragmatic breaths. So just the act of breathing like this pumps the lymphatic system. So moving this amazing healing lymph fluid through our bodies. Good. You can stay here, full slow breaths. Or if you'd like a few rounds of Kapalabhati, really inviting in some fire and transformative energy, you can join me in that. Please keep in mind if you have untreated heart conditions, if you're currently menstruating or pregnant, you probably want to skip this and keep with the full breaths. If you'd like to do breath of fire, you always have the option of taking Kali Mudra, stretching your arms up overhead. Today I'm going to keep my hands on my torso. So breathing in, breathing out, and then strike the navel back towards the spine. And then release that. The breath naturally comes back in. Go at a pace that works for you. And if it's tricky or if the rhythm is just not coming today, that's okay. For, 15 years I've practiced it by sticking my tongue out and panting like a dog. Doing that a few times just so my body starts getting in the rhythm, and then drawing the tongue in, transitioning to breathe through the nose. Just another time. And then slowly breathe in fully. And hold full. Exhale, releasing. And breathe naturally. Option to take one more round of Kapalabhati, breath of fire, or skull shining breath, aiming for about 20 cycles, just doing the best you can. So beginning when you're ready. Big breath in. Holding full at the top of your breath. You could imagine the energy of the breath swirling around inside of you. And eventually letting the breath go. Enjoy a breath or two. And if you'd like to close this time by chanting one round of Om, let's draw the hands together at the heart, sitting tall, big breath in to create the vibration. Thank you for sharing your time and your practice. I hope you have a beautiful Wednesday, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow morning.